everyone, welcome back to Eastwick Cottage Garden. It is Saturday. It's actually August 10th, which apparently is National Lazy Day. So I hope you guys had a National Lazy Day, a good day of rest on Saturday if you're seeing this later. And we have had a whirlwind of weather the past couple of weeks. So last weekend was ridiculously hot and humid. It was unsafe for me to be outside, for most people to be outside. So nothing got done in the garden last weekend, and this past week it was full of rain. So we had storms coming from the west, and then it culminated with Debbie later in the week coming up from the south. And I pray that all of you were safe during the storms, and if you're in California, that you're safe during the fires. It's been quite an event this July into August. So what I need to do today is to do a lot of cleaning up. We've had a lot of rain, which means a lot of growth, and I need to do a lot of tidying up in the garden and some mulching to prepare for fall. So we want to get the garden cleaned up a bit. You can see in the back here, it's pretty full. I do have some bacterial growth in the garden that I need to deal with, so I'm going to show you that as well. But we are going to set the camera up here, and we're going to see how much we can get done today. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be a little bit drier and we can get some activity done tomorrow too. So hopefully this will be a action-packed weekend. I feel a breeze coming on, so I think the air is drying up, which is good. So we're just going to go along with our adventures today and see how much we can get done. So for this flower bed here, we are going to be cleaning up the yarrow. The stalks are starting to brown, but there's some new growth underneath. So I'm going to cut this back, and it'll give the other plants a chance to breathe a bit and make it look a little bit tidier as well. And we have our lavenders actually doing its second flush, which is lovely. And we have a few strawberries over here, and I'm going to probably pick them, have them as a snack for breakfast or for brunch. Strawberries were delicious. One I should have probably picked yesterday or the day before, but that's okay. Also revealing some weeds down here. Ha ha. In every one of my flower beds, there are praying mantis. So I don't know if you can see this one here. I think it's a female because she's gigantic. And yeah, every flower bed has at least one. Pretty fantastic. There's a bee feeding on the salvia, so I'm trying not to disturb it. Well, the weather said it was going to be better today, humidity-wise. I don't know if they got their stories right. It is pretty ghastly out here. It is really humid out here, so I might go in for a few hours. I want to go over into the immersive bed over here, which has a little bit more shade. So we'll see how we do with that first. And then we'll take care of these beds a little later in the evening after the sun goes down a little bit. So for this orchard grape border, we cleared out the yarrow, and now it looks very naked. And I don't know, for those of you who have been watching for a while, and you saw that I rescued this echinacea that was back here, you can see that there, when I first planted these, there's a pretty decent open space here, and these plants were not nearly as big as this. So thought it could live there, but no, it got crowded out, so we moved it. So hopefully we can get some more flushing of the yarrow. If you could see in there, there's some of the mossy green foliage flushing back. And we also have our columbine that is flushing back, so hopefully we can get some blooms for that in the fall. I trimmed back some of the echinacea here, and here's another of the yarrow. This is the Coronation Gold yarrow, if you remember. And this is the 5th yarrow that we have here, and then I also trimmed back some of the blooms on this echinacea so some of the newer blooms can come in. I'm actually going to chop off some of these. These are older blooms so that you can see the newer blooms coming in back there. So hopefully we can get some more air in here, this area. And this agapanthus that's back here, I might trim back some of this Japanese anemone here so this agapanthus in the back here can get some light. We have plenty of anemone coming in and going to be blooming in the fall. So that is pretty much what we did for this bed. Hi everyone, it is a little later on in the day. I think it's about 3:30-ish, almost 4 o'clock. So we're gonna give it a go to do some more stuff here in the garden. The sun is going in and out of the clouds, so it seems like it might be better, and the humidity has definitely lessened. So it's much more easy to breathe. So I'm gonna set the camera up and we're gonna do some work in the immersive garden space. I did do some work over back in this corner here, this way, back in this corner here, and I'll show you that. I did that off camera earlier on before I went in. So we're gonna take care of what we need to do in the immersive garden space and hopefully get to do some mulching. So the first thing we're gonna do here is to stake up this hydrangea. I staked it up on this side a bit, but the panicles are super heavy and they were really, really heavy in the rain. So I don't want it to damage itself, but as you can see, I don't know, they're starting to turn pink, starting to get their pink color. This is the Little Lime hydrangea from Proven Winners, and it is doing a wonderful job of blooming. I can't believe how big these are. Look, this is, I don't know if you can even see this. You can see this one. This is my hand. This is the panicle. They're huge. So we have some little smaller ones over here that need to get staked so that they're not bending the branches so much. So I want to use 2 different kinds. I have these frames here. I have this is a smaller one, and then I have a larger one. So I'm going to stake, that's what I did here too. I staked with the smaller one for the lower limbs and with the taller one for the upper limbs. So I don't know, we'll see what we need in this case. Might need the same thing. Actually, I think this is just going to be a tall one. Give it something to rest on so that it's not putting so much pressure. So that they're not laying down so much. And as these get stronger, I think they won't lean as much. All right, one task done. And I want you guys to see, I'll show you more at the end, but this is one Rudbeckia that was actually a division of one of these two over here. So these two Rudbeckia I divided and have one on this side and then one on this side. The ones on the, I guess this is the west side, seem to be doing well. I think they get more sun than the ones on the east side. So I'm going to stop right here because I want to, and I hope this is in frame. We'll see what we get. I want to stake up this Heliopsis here, or false sunflower. I didn't think they were going to do such a good job, but they're actually late to the bloom cycle this year, but they're doing really well. So I want to encourage that and not have them flop all around. Give them something to lean on again. So there we go with that. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera again. To here. And I think you can see. So this, I'm very sad about this. This is my Green Twister Echinacea. I bought another one to go on the other side for this year, but it is suffering from Asters Yellow, and you can tell that because you can see the petals aren't formed all the way around on this one, and I don't know if you can see the top of here. There's green growth at the top of this one, and same for this one right here. That is a sign of Asters Yellow, which is a bacteria that is transmitted by an insect. And the problem is it affects anything in the Asteraceae family. I think that's what I'm saying that right. Which include my anything that's daisy-like. So it would affect my Shasta daisies, my Rudbeckia, asters, of course, and the Echinacea, and it spreads. So I need to pull this, I need to pull it out. And I'm really sad about that because this is about 3 years worth of growth, and it's finally, this is the best it's looked since I've had it, and I'm gonna have to start all over again. So, but it has to come out because I don't want it to infect everything else. So I'm gonna see if I can pull it out. If not, I'm gonna have to grab a shovel and dig it out. Yeah, kind of bummed about that. Oh, it's huge. So let me see. And then you don't want to, it'll pull out because the ground is nice and wet, thankfully. You don't want to compost this because it can infect everything else, the bacteria. So the whole, this is it, the whole plant. Very sad, but it has to go. That is the end of my Echinacea Green Twister for the moment. And we'll start all over again. In the interim, I'm going to use this support. Oops, I just broke it. To support my balloon flower. But I've just broken it. I need to trim it back anyway, but didn't want to break it. I'm going to do some deadheading. I'm just going to set the camera up, do some deadheading of some other things, and then we'll do a little quick tour. Oh, I have a daisy coming back. Hmm. So took a little break and fed Riley. He is doing well. He still has his cone of shame on, but we are going to the vet on Monday for him to get the stitches out, and then he can have the cone off. But otherwise, he's recovering really, really well, and I'm very thankful for that. So in this flower bed, these are the deck steps flower beds. I would like to do some deadheading. I would like to also remove, there's a, if you can see, there's 3 echinaceas. There's one right here. I want to take this out. There's one mirroring on the other side as well. These are the ones that I planted last year, and they're not doing so well. So I'm just going to pull them out. They don't look great. I just want to be, better safe than sorry. I also would like to cut back the Peter Cottontail yarrow here, like the Coronation Gold yarrow. It is putting out some new growth towards the bottom, and I want to trim it up so that it could be nice and neat for the fall. The other one on the other side is blooming a lot more, but I'm still going to cut them back and trim them up. I need to trim up some of the lantana again because their pennisetum back here is really starting to grow, so I want to give it the room that it needs. And then we're going to trim back some of the geranium here as well, just to do some deadheading on that. So that's the plan for these 2 beds. Oh, this broke. We have some damage here. Looks like something sat on this. It's probably a cat. Wow. All right, I want to leave it on there. It's still blooming, but not holding out hope. So that's why it pushed down. Hi everyone, it's actually the next day and I didn't get a chance to do the closeout video. There were some things going on so I couldn't do any filming, but I'm going to right now turn the camera around and we'll show you what we got accomplished yesterday. Today, I got a little bit of a late start today, so I think I'm just going to focus on trying to get some mulching done in the front flower bed. I'm not going to film it because it's pretty boring. It's just me filling up a wagon and dumping it in the flower bed. But I will show you what happens at the end of that. And I think throughout this week, I might try to work on the forsythia in the front to get that tidied up. So I'm going to turn the camera around now and we're going to see what we got done yesterday. So as a recap for this orchard grape border bed, we mostly spent the time cutting back the yarrow. And as you can see, it's a little bit better lighting, I think, here, that you can see that the mossy green is coming in, and those are the stalks from the previous run. And we cleaned out the area here so that this agapanthus could get some more light and air. Hopefully it'll help it with its growth cycle and it'll start flowering like the others are doing. We did some deadheading of the salvia. Need to come back and do that again. And basically this bed has been cleared out. I have to say, looking at it through the windows, it looks a lot cleaner, a lot tidier. I'm probably going to come in and put some mulch in some of the barer areas until we can mulch this whole bed. But you can see that the columbine here and then over here is flushing in, and perhaps we might get some in the fall, like I said before. So that's what we did in this area here. And then coming around, you can see that the plum tree is looking rather full. It's doing a really great job. It looks really good this year. Looking forward to that. And coming back here, I did want to show you that the rose here, the pilgrim rose, is starting to climb on the fence, which is very nice. So I'm very excited about that. And this bed is doing well overall, this back orchard bed. I did cut back some of the Rudbeckia. Here, this is the cherry brandy Rudbeckia. I did cut some of that back. So I did some deadheading on that. The only thing is, we did lose one of the coral jade sedum. I'm having a hard time with these. I started out with 3, had 2, and now I have 1 left. I have to find better spots for them, I guess, and find something else that will do better in this bed back here. And I wanted to show you here, we have our rogue tomato plant, volunteer tomato plant, that is here. So I staked it up so that it could do its thing. It has some flowers on it, and also there are some tomatoes. You can see down there, there and there. There's some tomatoes. Oh, there's a few all over. So looking forward to seeing what kind of tomatoes they actually are. I also wanted to show you that our wintergreen is putting on its berries, and the berries are turning red, so that's kind of exciting. So here in the immersive flower bed, you can see that it's very, very full, which I love it very much. Still need to finish working on the paths here. So I think I might kind of throw some mulch in here as well today if I can. But I really want to concentrate on that front bed because that's where the weeds are doing their most damage. We're getting some blooms coming back on the key lime pie dianthus. And these dianthus plants are doing well as well. And we have our Piquito orange agastaki that you can see that the bees, pollinators are loving them. The hummingbird also loves this as well. So you can see that there's a lot of activity here, which is nice to see. And our peppers here mind the mess of the path. I've gotten a couple of peppers off of here, but you can see this one is getting orange, and there's a few on the plant. There are a few peppers on the plant. I've taken a few of these purple beauties off as well, so we have some more coming and some flowers on there. I've gotten quite a bit of tomatoes off of the yellow. This is the white cherry tomato. Gotten several off of there. It's wonderful. And as you can see here on the sun sugar tomato, I've gotten a bunch off of here as well. I'm going to pick this one. This is my favorite tomato. Just going to wallop that down. That was yummy. Yummy, yummy. Coming through here, I'm still very impressed with this lavender. This is a phenomenal lavender. I have 5 of these on the property. And this one we planted a little bit ago, and it is doing really, really, really well. The kaleidoscope abelia is blooming. Those pretty flowers. This container that we did is doing very nicely with the campfire marshmallow bidens and the various coleus inside. You're coming around here. what we did here yesterday was to stake up this little lime hydrangea. And as you can see, the pink is coming in and it's looking really, really nice. So I feel better that it's staked up a bit on this side and it's not laying on the ground, because this side was laying on the ground, but at least it's standing up a little bit more. And coming around here, showed you the Rudbeckia over here, the black-eyed Susan here. And up here you can see that the knockout roses are coming back into flower. So that is lovely. And we had to sadly remove the Green Twister Echinacea that was here. But we do have one on this side. Ooh, with, like I said, almost in every flower bed, a praying mantis. And he's looking at me. He's looking at us. Hello. Doing your garden tasks on the Green Twister. We also staked up down here this false sunflower or Heliopsis, and we also did some deadheading on the balloon flowers over here. We also did some tidying up in the deck steps beds. I tried to cut back this lantana thinking that it was overgrowing, but it is actually, and I'll show you guys from this side because I don't know if you could see what I was looking at. You can see that it's broken down in there. There is a cat, well, there are a couple cats come into the yard. I can catch them on my security cameras at night. And the one I caught in the flower bed, and I did have a toad in this flower bed earlier on in the season, and it is now gone, and I think that the cat probably got it. But we did also trim back the Peter Cottontail yarrow here. You can see there's some new growth within the plants. Hopefully we can flush out and maybe do some more flowers. I see some flower buds on there. And then we trimmed back some of the geranium just a little bit. I also removed the echinacea on either side that wasn't doing well, and we'll kind of replant that later. But I'm happy that this Panacetum is putting on more growth on this side, so hopefully it'll flush out like the other one. I'm going to take you over to the other bed so you can see. And our 9-bark, this is the Tiny Wine 9-bark, it's doing well. And so is the Helenium, or sneezeweed. This is the first time that this has bloomed, and it is doing amazingly well, filling in that back spot with a bright touch of yellow. And here is the sister bed to that, where we also pulled out the other echinacea that wasn't doing well. But you can see the Panacetum in this area is doing great, and it's put on its little flower spikes that will have like a little bit of a pink hue. And you can see also that the Helenium in this bed is doing well, and it's such a bee magnet and pollinator magnet. It's wonderful. And we also trimmed back this Peter Cottontail yarrow as well as the geranium over here. So overall, I'm happy about what we were able to get done this weekend. So those are the tasks so far for the weekend. I'm going to see if I can get some of the mulching done in the front flower bed at least. Take Riley out front with me, and we'll just kind of set up and do that. But I'm happy that we got some maintenance done in the garden, some tidying up, some trimming back, the removal of the echinacea, because I was kind of concerned that it was going to start infecting the other daisy-like flowers in the garden. How are your gardens doing? How did they fare in the weather? What is growing the most in your garden now? Are there any things that you guys are struggling with? I'd love to hear it. I know this has been a very interesting season weather-wise, and our gardens are responding somewhat differently than we expect them to. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your families are doing well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.